और जिसकी ताकत, जिसके ये उसका धंधा ये बढ़ गया था। ये मेरा सबसे पहला सवाल है। अगर सरकार कार्रवाई करती या वो अधिकारी कार्रवाई करते तो मुझे ये कायदा हाथ में लेने की क्या जरूरत थी? मुझे कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी। और आप जो बता रहे हैं कि मैंने जिस तरह का मेरा प्रशिक्षण हुआ है, तो वो आज का विषय नहीं है, वो 30 साल पहले का विषय है जो आप सुन रही है। और ये बात पे भी मैं पूरी तरह से ठाम हूँ कि अगर फिर से कोई ऐसी गलती करेगा तो मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं।
इतने सारे घटना हैं गायकवाड़ जी, आपके कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में भी शायद होंगे, बहुत सारा नाइंसाफ़ी होती है लोगों के साथ। क्या आप लैंड माफिया के खिलाफ ऐसे कर सकते हैं? क्या आप बैंक मैनेजर को जाके ऐसे मार सकते हैं? क्या कोई ताकतवर आदमी को जाके आप मार सकते हैं? क्या आपके पास वो शक्ति है? डू यू हैव द गट्स कि कोई पावरफुल आदमी को जाके आप मार सकते हो ऐसे? आपने एक कैंटीन में एक मैनेजर को मारा है।
जो सवाल आपने किए, सुनो मेरी बात। पहला सवाल कि मैनेजर को मारा है, ये आपको दिख रहा है, लेकिन वो मैनेजर 1 साल में 1 लाख लोगों के जान से खेल रहा है, वो आपको दिखता नहीं क्या?
सर जो भी है, आप
1 लाख लोगों की जिंदगी से खेल रहा है, उनके आरोग्य से खेल रहा है।
सर आप एक गुंडे जैसे बिहेव कर रहे हो।
सुनो मेरी,
आप तो एक विधायक हो,
आपका
आप एक विधायक हो, आप गुंडे नहीं हो सर।
सुनिए
सर आप गुंडे नहीं हो, आप एक विधायक हो, आप एक इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हो, आप एक रोल मॉडल हो, आप एक पॉलिटिशियन है, आप पब्लिक लाइफ में हैं।
प्रयास मत कीजिए,
आप पब्लिक लाइफ में हैं, आपके वोटर्स हैं सर।
मेरी जिम्मेदारी मुझे पता है।
क्या ये ठीक है जो आपने किया? मैं सुन रहा हूं सर,
आप लाइव करें ना।
मैं सिटीजन्स के बिहाफ से आपको क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूं आज। बताइए।
नहीं, मैं बात करूंगा नहीं। आप बताइए मेरी बात।
सुन रहा हूं।
मैंने जो पहले जवाब दिया है वो आप मेरी आवाज जनता तक क्यों नहीं पहुंचाते? आप बीच में क्यों टोक रहे हैं मुझे?
सर आप लाइव हैं एनडीटीवी पर।
मैं सही बात कर रहा हूं तो
आपकी जो आवाज है,
आप मेरी आवाज ब्रेक मत कीजिए, मेरा पूरा
सबने देखा है, सबने सुना है।
मैं तुम्हारी से बात नहीं करूंगा।
बोलिए सर, हम सुन रहे हैं। हम
देखो, आप
लेकिन
से लेके
सवाल का जवाब दीजिए।
आप बीच में मत बोलिए।
जी बोलिए।
मैं सवाल का ही जवाब दे रहा हूं कि एक आदमी को मारपीट हो रही है तो आपको दिख रहा है, लेकिन वो आदमी मेरे महाराष्ट्र के 1 लाख लोगों की जिंदगी से खेल रहा है, आमदारों की जिंदगी से खेल रहा है। 50 आमदार यहाँ रहते हैं, वो दिखता नहीं आपको?
किसी ने आपको सपोर्ट नहीं किया?
नहीं है,
किसी ने आपको सपोर्ट नहीं किया।
वो तो मेरी जान ले रहा था
सर। हम आपके कंस्टिट्यूएंसी में गए हैं, कोई भी आपको जरूरत नहीं है। आपके जो वोटर्स हैं वो भी आपको क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं।
सपोर्ट की जरूरत नहीं है।
आप बिल्कुल अकेले हैं आज। एकनाथ शिंदे भी आपको क्रिटिसाइज किया है, चीफ मिनिस्टर ने भी आपको क्रिटिसाइज किया है।
आपने कोई ज्यादा बड़े इस पे हाथ लगाया क्या? ये क्या पद्धति है? ये बात करते हैं तो मैं नहीं करूंगा बात इनसे।
आप
बोलने देता नहीं है।
आप अपने पार्टी के अध्यक्ष जो हैं सर,
कोई जरूरत नहीं उसको इंटरव्यू देने की।
गायकवाड़ साहब ऐसे मत कीजिए।
लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है।
गायकवाड़ साहब, आपके जो पार्टी के अध्यक्ष हैं एकनाथ शिंदे, जो डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर है महाराष्ट्र के, उन्होंने भी आपको क्रिटिसाइज किया है, उन्होंने भी बोला है। ओके, संजय गायकवाड़ इज रनिंग अवे फ्रॉम एनडीटीवी's questions after behaving like a gunda and a goon. He's walking away from NDTV's questions. Let's keep those pictures on our screen. There you can see he's walked off, torn off NDTV's mic and just walked off because he can't take a few questions. Have I raised my voice? I've not raised my voice, asking him normal questions the way NDTV always does. But that is the true worth of this Shinde Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad of Buldana. He wants to say his words, he wants to throw punches, he wants to throw slaps, but he can't take normal questions. That is the reality of it. So that is Sanjay Gaikwad, who proves here on live television, obviously on NDTV, the channel that broke the story, that his muscle, his punches, his slaps, his kicks, his abuses are only for people who cannot fight back. He would not dare to do it. You saw how he was practically speechless when we asked him whether he will do anything about the land mafia in Buldana. Will he go there and slap the land mafia members? Of course, he didn't answer that. He indulged in some rhetoric, tried to overpower me, and then tore off the mic and ran off. That is the asliyat, as we say, of a person like him. People who behave like dabangs, people who hit the defenseless, people who hit the weaker, bullies, as we better know them, are all basically like this viewer. They cannot take the heat, They cannot take questions. They cannot take discomfort. They operate through domination and by preying on those who cannot fight back. When they go up against someone their own size, that's what happens to them. And now let's get down to the big political story of the day, or the one that's coming up, and that is the Bihar election. And in that context, the Supreme Court just a short while ago expressed serious doubts over the Election Commission's plan to hold a special intensive revision, SIR, of Bihar's electoral rolls months before the election that's coming up, possibly in November, December this year. In a high-stakes hearing a short while ago, which included arguments on disenfranchisement and determinants of citizenship, the court told the Election Commission, your exercise is not the problem, it is the timing. We have serious doubts if you can manage this exercise with such a big population, estimated 8 crore people in Bihar being subject to this intensive review. Is it possible to link this to the forthcoming election? The court also red flagged the decision to exclude Aadhaar from the list of documents deemed acceptable for individuals to re-verify themselves on the state's electoral roll. So the Supreme Court said, your enumeration exercise is related to identity. The entire exercise is primarily about identity only. So you have a situation where the Supreme Court has now said that they are not going to stop the enumeration exercise, they're not going to stop the voter revision, but they've suggested that Aadhaar and voter IDs also be compatible IDs for this exercise. So this is being seen as some sort of relief for the Election Commission, but also an advisory coming in from the top court that unlike earlier, they will have to consider Aadhaar and voter IDs as well.
आपकी पहली प्रतिक्रिया क्या है? 3 चीज जो आप डिमांड कर रहे थे वो आपको मिल गई है?
देखिए, मैं समझता हूं कि सबसे पहले तो माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का शुक्रिया। हाहाकार मचा हुआ था पूरे बिहार में, जिंदगियां उथल पुथल में थी और लगातार नेता प्रतिपक्ष तेजस्वी जी प्रेस के माध्यम से, आप लोगों के माध्यम से इलेक्शन कमीशन जाकर के दिल्ली और पटना वस्तु स्थिति से अवगत करा रहे थे। जो एक मेजर इश्यू था उस पर एक समझिए कि एक दिशा दी गई है इलेक्शन कमीशन को। एग्जैक्ट अगर मैं वर्ड कहूँ माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का, कि प्राइमा फेसी वी बिलीव दैट इलेक्शन कमीशन मस्ट कंसिडर, यानी कि इलेक्शन कमीशन को स्वीकार करना चाहिए कि ये जो 3 दस्तावेज हैं, आधार कार्ड, EPIC वोटर ID कार्ड और राशन कार्ड को उन दस्तावेजों की श्रृंखला में शामिल करना चाहिए ताकि मैक्सिमम लोग इंक्लूड किए जा सके और तथावार प्रगति या रोड ब्लॉक के बारे में पुनः एक सुनवाई की तिथि 28 तारीख की रखी गई है, जुलाई के महीने में।
लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये भी कहा कि प्रक्रिया जारी रहेगी जो इसी ने की।
जी, उन्होंने कहा कि प्रक्रिया जारी रहेगी, लेकिन वो उसका अवलोकन भी करते रहेंगे। और एक महत्वपूर्ण मांग जो पूरे बिहार से थी, महागठबंधन से थी, और तेजस्वी जी जिसको वर्बलाइज कर रहे थे कि आप दस्तावेजों की श्रृंखला को बढ़ाइए ताकि जिसका पेनिट्रेशन, जिन दस्तावेज की उपलब्धता का पेनिट्रेशन ज़्यादा है, तो ताकि सामूहिक और व्यापक भागीदारी सुनिश्चित हो सके। उस संबंध में मैं सोचता हूं कि लोगों को रिलीफ मिला है।
लाखों लोगों की जीत मानते हैं?
मैं समझता हूं करोड़ों बिहारियों की जीत है और अभी कई मंजिलें देखनी है। इस प्रक्रिया को पारदर्शी बने रहना चाहिए, भागीदारी से भरपूर होना चाहिए और अप्रोच ये होना चाहिए कि ये इंक्लूजन में तब्दील हो, एक्सक्लूजन में तब्दील ना हो।
उन लोगों के लिए क्या कहेंगे जो इसी के पहले डिसीजन को डिफेंड कर रहे थे?
देखिए, मैं उनको यही कहूँगा कि कभी कभी ऐसे कुछ मौके आते हैं जब दलीय दायरों से ऊपर होकर के सोचना होगा इसमें किस पे मार पड़ती, गरीब लोगों पे पड़ती, दलित, पिछड़े, अल्पसंख्यक मुसलमानों पे मार पड़ती। जो बाहर है 25 दिन के अंदर वो कैसे सारे दस्तावेज जुटा पाएगा? और उनमें से कई दस्तावेज ऐसे थे जिसके लिए एक ऑफिस से दूसरे ऑफिस का चक्कर लगाना था। मैं समझता हूं कि माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने एक दिशा दी है।
So Yogendra Yadav will tell us more about what happened in the Supreme Court today.
Many of us went to the court today, led by Association for Democratic Reforms, PUCL. These are organizations with long-term credibility of working on it. As you said, I was also one of the petitioners. And the question asked was that universal adult franchise is being threatened. There is a serious danger, apprehension of disenfranchisement. The court was very sensitive to those questions, and the court repeatedly asked the Election Commission, tell us, on what basis are you not accepting Aadhaar, which is mentioned in your own rules? Or why do you not accept Epic card, which you have yourself issued? Why not accept ration card? The court also asked question about the timelines that they have set in Bihar and said that this looks like a timeline which cannot be fulfilled, especially because it involves giving every single person a right to hearing if they are not included in the list. The Election Commission really had no answer to those questions, but the court was kind and has said that court has made preliminary prima facie observation that in the interest of justice, all these documents should be accepted. We have to see on the 28th whether that happens or not. But to my mind, the court has put the ECI on a very short leash. Either change your list or we will take a view. To my mind, that's a great victory for many of us who said right from day one that this list and this particular procedure was completely malafide.
सुनवाई तो 28 को जारी रहेगी, पर आज क्या आदेश दिया सुप्रीम?
देखिए, आज जो याचिकाकर्ताओं का जो मेन अटैक था कि आधार कार्ड को रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया है। आधार कार्ड को इलेक्शन कमीशन वेरिफिकेशन के दरमियान कंसीडर नहीं कर रही है, जिससे कि वोटर्स का जो राइट टू वोट है वो लार्ज स्केल पे अफेक्ट हो रहा है। लेकिन जब इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अपना रिप्लाई दिया और इलेक्शन कमीशन ने माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय को कन्विंस किया कि जो आधार कार्ड है उससे सिटीजनशिप या उनके वोटर्स को राइट को इस्टेब्लिश नहीं किया जा सकता है, और इस सिलसिले में उन्होंने आधार कार्ड एक्ट का रेफरेंस दिया। प्रमा फेसाई माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय इलेक्शन कमीशन की इस दलील से सहमत हुआ, इसीलिए उन्होंने किसी भी तरह का इंटरिम आदेश पारित करने से मना कर दिया। अदालत के मूड को भांपते हुए जितने पेटिशनर्स थे उन्होंने अपने इंटरिम रिलीफ के एप्लीकेशन को प्रेस नहीं किया।
NDTV's Nupur Dogra is live with me from the Supreme Court. Maria Shakil is with us, tracking the story very closely from the NDTV studios. Nupur, very quickly to you first. You know, there's a lot of different readings as to what the Supreme Court has said right now, and it looks like each side is seeing a certain degree of relief for themselves. Can you break it down for us procedurally, what this means now?
Well, Shiv, this question is in everyone's mind, and I will just tell you two major statements by the Supreme Court with this regard, which will make it clear that where the Supreme Court stand is. The Supreme Court at very first, while dictating its order, said that it is in the interest of justice. This is the prima facie opinion of the Supreme Court, that it is in interest of justice that Aadhaar, ration card and the voter ID issued by Election Commission of India should be enumerated and be included with when it comes to the documents that would be considered under the SIR. Remember, only 11 documents were listed, but Aadhaar was not a part of it. Top court today grilled ECI over why Aadhaar card was excluded when the Representations of People Act clearly identifies Aadhaar as a proof of identity. Now, secondly, the Supreme Court has in its order itself, while dictating order, said that this issue goes to the roots of democracy. This is just the first hearing, and in observing that this issue goes to the roots of democracy, the Supreme Court said that it wants to hear the matter at length before passing any order.
Okay.
So it has asked for a detailed response from the ECI as well as rejoinders from all the petitioners till 20th July. And on 20th July, after hearing the detailed response, the Supreme Court will decide what it wants to do, whether it wants to go for an interim stay, whether it wants to de-link the procedure from Bihar election. So these will be two important issues to watch out if the top court allows de-linking of this entire process from Bihar elections.
Very interesting, and I wonder how they could possibly manage to do that, and 28th is not very far away. Maria, how are you reading this?
Look, if you look at the petition which was before the Supreme Court, the petitioners had not really asked for a stay of this entire exercise which is currently being undertaken in Bihar. Remember, Shiv, 60% of the voters have submitted their documents and the remaining 40% will be submitting so in the next 14 days. The Election Commission's own assessment is that the entire exercise in Bihar will be wrapped up in the next 14 days. Among the petitioners was also the Trinamool Congress MP. The sense in the opposition is that this doesn't stop only in Bihar. That next year when the elections will be held in Assam and in the state of Bengal, these are states which have a high minority population, similar exercise may be conducted by the Election Commission. So it may not have immediate repercussions on Bihar right now because the petitioners, as I've been speaking to a number of them, they say that this is a very, very favorable order because they wanted the Aadhaar and also the ration card to be included as one of those, among those 11 documents which are seen as a proof of identification. That is what they wanted. This is what they are saying, that that the Supreme Court is now in agreement with them that there is more documents which are needed so that because this entire exercise will continue and because it will not stop only in Bihar, it will continue in other states which go to polls later this year. That is the reason why even if the Supreme Court takes this up, say after 2 weeks, it will be seen as to how it plays out in other states.
Lots to expect. Let's see what happens on the 28th of July, and Nupur and Maria and our team will be tracking that very closely. Remember, Bihar is the big electoral finale of 2025. What a year it's already been. We're flipping into a very short break. We're back with our reporting team also on the big NDTV news break on the Shashi Tharoor-Congress rift that's widening. It's the latest hostile shot fired by Shashi at the grand old party through a newspaper column this time. We'll tell you all about it next.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
We've got a news break coming in from Hisar in Haryana. A shocking crime has just been reported. A principal of a school has just been stabbed to death by two students, we are told. This is on Guru Purnima. Case of stabbing and killing of principal identified as Jagbir Singh has come to light in Hisar in Haryana. According to information that we're receiving, 2 students attacked the principal with a knife. Let's get Gurpreet Singh Chinna in for more on this story. Gurpreet, what happened? 2 students apparently killing their principal.
Well, yes, we have seen the police have already registered an FIR against both the students, and in the preliminary investigation what we have learned after recording the statement of various eyewitnesses who were present when these students stabbed the principal to death, what we have learned that they were not following discipline, and multiple times the principal had given them notices, and especially he was talking about their haircut, their uniform also, to tuck in their shirts also in a proper dress. They should come to the schools. But today what we have seen and what we have learned from the police official, they have brought in a knife, folding knife, and the moment when they have seen the principal, immediately they started stabbing the principal, and we have seen multiple stab wounds have been seen on the body of the principal. He was being taken to the private hospital, but he comes to the injury when he was being given a proper treatment. Not in the nutshell, what we have learned during the investigation, they have learned these students, they were not following the school discipline. discipline, and that was the bone of contention why they have attacked the principal. And what we have learned from the police also, multiple times they are being given reminder and notices also that they should properly follow all the discipline of the schools, and they should have a proper haircut, they should come in a proper dress, but they were not following the proper rules and regulations. But today we have seen when they have brought in that folding knife, the moment they saw the principal, they attacked the principal with the knife, and finally we have seen the principal have lost his life because he was being attacked and stabbed multiple times by the knife by these two school students. Back
Keep
to
a track of that story. Thanks, Gurpreet, for getting us the latest on that story that we were telling you about, that we brought to light earlier today. Senior Congress leader Shashi Tharoor, and let's go to that story now, has said that emergency should not be remembered merely as a dark chapter in India's history, but that its lessons must be fully understood. This is being seen as Shashi Tharoor's latest hostile action against his own party in what has been a season of similar moves by Shashi Tharoor that have alienated him within the grand old party, the Congress party. Shashi Tharoor, in a newspaper column in Kerala, recalled Sanjay Gandhi's role in the emergency and has taken on the Congress in an unusually direct way in what is considered to be one of the most sensitive topics. Tharoor described emergency as an erosion of freedom and spoke about the draconian measures and unspeakable cruelty that occurred during that time. He's highlighted forced sterilization campaign, the more macabre aspects of what happened under Indira Gandhi's emergency, its impact on the poor and on the rural areas of the country. Remember, the context of Shashi Tharoor continuing to sort of poke his own party is also in the pressure tactics that many believe he is trying to muscle flex ahead of the Kerala elections 2 years from now, and a survey which has anointed him perhaps one of the most popular faces. Well, the Congress is not taking things lying down and is giving it back to him as well.
इससे ये स्पष्ट होता है, यदि कांग्रेस सांसद ऐसा बोलते हैं कि यदि उनके किसी वरिष्ठ नेता को 50 वर्ष के बाद भी इस बात का एहसास होता है, एक तो बहुत देर से हुआ, अब इसके बाद भी यदि कांग्रेस पार्टी इसका विरोध करती है, इससे बहुत स्पष्ट है कि वो इमरजेंसी की मानसिकता को सही मानते हैं और आज भी पूरी निर्लज्जता के साथ उसका समर्थन करते हैं। और अभी आपने देखा जो बिहार में प्रदर्शन किया है, 50 साल में मानसिकता नहीं बदली है, वही मानसिकता राहुल गांधी जी के वक्तव्य पर लक्षित होती है कि मेरी चुनावी हार जीत के आधार पर संवैधानिक संस्थाओं की मान्यता तय होगी।
Well, Shashi Tharoor is certainly not making any more friends in the Congress party after he shared a survey indicating that he is the most preferred choice for Chief Minister among leaders of the party-led United Democratic Front in Kerala. There couldn't be a less subtle way of him pitching to be the chief ministerial face of the Congress-led UDF in the next Kerala election. However, his pitch was immediately junked by his party Congress leader Ramesh Chennithala in Thiruvananthapuram, who has rejected the survey showing Tharoor as the most suitable CM candidate, saying that this survey is completely cooked up.
അധികാരത്തിൽ വരുന്നുള്ളൊരു സർവേ കഴിഞ്ഞ ദിവസം ശശി തരൂർ പങ്കുവച്ചു. ആ സർവേക്കകത്ത് ഒരു വിശ്വാസ്യതയില്ലാത്ത സർവേയാണ്. അതാരോ കുക്ക് ചെയ്തുണ്ടാക്കിയ സർവേയാണ്. അതിന് എനിക്ക് വിശ്വാസമില്ല. അദ്ദേഹമാണ് മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി സ്ഥാനാർത്ഥിക്ക് ഏറെ പിന്തുണയുള്ള ആളെന്നും ആ സർവേയിൽ പറയുന്നത് സർ.
All right, let's bring in Aishwarya Jain for more on this story. Aishwarya, Shashi Tharoor doesn't appear to be laying his weapons down. He appears to be escalating things. One would have imagined that there would be a ceasefire by now, especially after it became clear that the Congress party was not planning to take any action against him. What are his next steps? What's going to happen to him?
Well, on one side, Shashi Tharoor has made it very clear that he is a loyalist of the Congress party, and for the last 16 years he has been following the ideology of Congress party that many within the Congress party leaders have not followed that, and he is a hardcore Congress worker. But time and again we have seen Shashi Tharoor being very vocal about lauding Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership and how India is going forward. On the other side, on several instances we have seen Bharatiya Janata Party letting no chance to take either a jibe or to use it in a way that the rift goes wide open between Dr. Shashi Tharoor and the High Command. Today as well, it was the Bharatiya Janata Party who stated that yes, the Congress MP now after so many years have endorsed as to how the emergency was the darkest chapter of India's history. But today as well, if the Congress opposes their own MP, then it shows the mindset of how they are against what has happened in the past wrong. But Dr. Shashi Tharoor categorically has been stating that he is with the Congress party, and but most importantly, he had not spoken to the High Command so far after returning from a 5-nation tour where he time and again had applauded Narendra Modi's leadership and stated that how this decision of sending the delegations abroad has helped maintaining India's stance very clear. At that point of time as well, the Congress leaders called Shashi Tharoor a super spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So how things will boil down and what will be next is something that would be very interesting to see.
Aishwarya, thanks very much for that. Indeed, what will happen next to Shashi Tharoor? It appears that this is mostly shadow boxing going on, but given the high profile of the principal players in this entire brawl, how can we really ignore it? And there's a big election coming as well, so who knows where things will actually land. We'll keep you updated on it. And the Karnataka Game of Thrones has only escalated. Anyone who thinks that there is even a tentative ceasefire between Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar, you couldn't possibly be more wrong, because the political drama in Karnataka has taken a very sharp turn with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy today in the national capital, in Delhi, camping in the national capital amidst these growing tensions within the ruling party over whether Siddaramaiah stays as Chief Minister for the full 5-year term till 2028 or whether D.K. Shivakumar gets a turn as part of a rotational formula and becomes the Chief Minister sometime at the end of this year. Well, Siddaramaiah on his part is digging in his heels. He's dismissed any talk of a power-sharing formula or any change in the Chief Minister's position or even a cabinet reshuffle. Siddaramaiah, who is in Delhi, like I said, has made it clear that there will be no leadership change. He's obviously flexing muscle at the High Command, who both he and D.K. Shivakumar have come to meet. Meanwhile, even as the power play continues in Delhi, a host of senior leaders and ministers met Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge at his home a while ago. There's hectic lobbying going on. Officially, all of them maintain it was a courtesy visit, but amidst the power play in Delhi, this meeting becomes even more important. Among those who met Kharge were also aspirants for the post of the KPCC president like Satish Jarkiholi, Ishwar Khandre and Sharan Prakash Patil. A few of them have also expressed concern over the current political scenario, the repeated statements and the constant chatter that there are tremors and there could be a new chief minister. Well, this comes, remember, in the backdrop of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy camping in Delhi unusually.
No discussion taken place. That is my reply. Mr. D.K. Shivakumar himself said it, that there is no vacancy of the CM post. My answer is, whatever decision taken by the High Command, both of us will follow, will obey. No, there is no scheduled program. Neither Rahul Gandhi ji nor Kharge ji invited us, our party, to discuss the issues regarding the party.
And NDTV's Deepak Bopana spoke to one particular MLA who has gone completely out on a limb, pitching and lobbying for D.K. Shivakumar to become the Chief Minister. Listen into this latest conversation.
There's no question of leadership change. Would you want to say anything?
We are depending only on High Command, sir. Whatever the High Command decide, that we will follow it, sir. Please.
Because you had also mentioned that, the notice you will respond to, but your stand that you want a change remains the same.
Yeah. That is there, sir. That is there. Now, in the future, whatever the government, this High Command says, that we will follow it, sir.
Okay, but your demand remains the same?
Yeah. I stand with my word, sir.
Okay, because the Chief Minister is now saying that, for 5 years he'll continue.
Whatever it may be, sir, whatever it may be, I stand with my words.
Okay.
I demand, we must see that D.K. Shivakumar to be a Chief Minister, that's all.
Okay, let's go back to Aishwarya Jain for more on the story. Aishwarya is tracking all the political developments. See, Aishwarya, Kharge meeting with the senior Congress leaders, but the Game of Thrones is, of course, the central issue. The side issues a little later. Everyone know what the two big leaders are doing in Delhi. Of course, they've got a lot of business to discuss, but let's be very clear. They're here to meet the High Command. Both sides feel that they need to make their presence felt and flex their muscle.
Well, yesterday we spoke to D.K. Shivakumar after the conference that he had in the national capital, and he said that everyone has their own well-wishers and they can support any of their leader to be at the high post, and that's what my supporters also wants. But it is ultimately the High Command to decide. Although Siddaramaiah has flexed his muscles, he is in Delhi. Although the official word that has came in that both the Chief Ministers and Deputy Chief Ministers in Delhi for the official work, Deputy Chief Minister met Jal Shakti Minister C.R. Patil, Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav for their official developmental projects that are going in the state of Karnataka. Today it was Siddaramaiah who also met Rajnath Singh for the proposal of Aero Show. But we can't deny the fact that D.K. Shivakumar is seeking an appointment from Rahul Gandhi, which till now we have been told he hasn't got. He stated that if he will get a chance, he will definitely meet Rahul Gandhi tonight or perhaps tomorrow morning. Siddaramaiah had given no indication that he's not meeting High Command at this point of time in Delhi. But at the same time, we are witnessing Mallikarjun Kharge meeting the MLAs back in Bengaluru and asking what is happening over there. He also clarified why Surjewala is camping in Bengaluru, because there is an organizational change that needs to be done from district level to the state bearer officers of officials over there. So a lot of things are going on, but speculations cannot be denied because both are here in Delhi, and probably after the High Command meeting, what's the next step, what is going to happen is something that would be interesting to see.
Aishwarya, thanks for that update. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with those meetings with the Congress president, who, remember, has already very interestingly deferred the entire decision of any possible or potential change to the High Command of the Congress party. So Mallikarjun Kharge has basically washed his hands off this entire affair and said, this is above my pay grade, let the High Command decide. Deepak, these tremors have been going on for a while. Our coverage has set the agenda. That's the reason why everyone is even looking at it the way we've been breaking it. What are you hearing? The two principal players are sitting in Delhi, where I am right now. You're in Bangalore. Are the camps still, flexing muscle from the background?
Well, absolutely, Shiv. And we here at NDTV had said there are tremors. At that point in time, everyone said there are no tremors at all. And today we are feeling those tremors quite literally, isn't it, in Delhi? Yes, there has been an earthquake. On the other, there is somewhere a political tremor as well, as far as Karnataka politics is concerned. For the Chief Minister of Karnataka to go to Delhi and do the kind of press conference that he did today, asserting his position, speaks a lot. That, he wants to really put his foot down and say, well, I'm not moving anywhere. Because the pressure is definitely building. The legislators backing Mr. D.K. Shivakumar are not really, shying away from saying what they want. Despite notices being issued to them, they continue to make their stand clear. Mr. D.K. Shivakumar is in Delhi. He's knocking the doors of the High Command there, speaking to Priyanka Gandhi, wants to have a dialogue with Sonia Gandhi, wants to meet Rahul Gandhi. So he's probably going to stress upon that, unwritten promise of that power sharing formula. When this was particularly asked to Mr. Siddaramaiah, he does not deny that there was a power sharing formula, but he says, well, I have said that I'm going to continue for 5 years, but we will always listen to what the High Command says.
Yes.
So has the High Command right now told him there is nothing to worry? That's the question. Today in Bengaluru, Mr. Kharge was here. A host of ministers making a beeline. And some of these ministers have their own aspirations. And politics is all about aspirations. So we should definitely look at these interesting names. Satish Jarkioli, Ishwar Khandre, you have Sharan Prakash Patil, all of them aspirants for the KPCC president's post. So if there is, of course, something that the High Command is considering, the ministers here do not want to be left out. And Mr. Parameshwar, he himself feels that he could be a front runner for the Chief Minister's position too. So there's a lot of dynamics right now at play. What the High Command does, how they do it, that is going to be pertinent to note.
Definitely not an easy decision for them. So many things to consider. Where Mr. Siddaramaiah stands, what D.K. Shivakumar represents, pressure to make a bold choice, effect a generational change. Can't be easy being in the High Command right now, but well, let's see how things actually land. Deepak and Aishwarya, thanks very much for that now. We'll keep a track of that. A 26-year-old man accused of operating an Instagram account that posts videos and photographs of women in Bengaluru without their consent was arrested following a woman's viral Instagram post was highlighted and reported here on NDTV. And now Karnataka's Chief Minister has assured the public that safety of women will be a very high priority, saying that they are committed to women's safety. The case came to light when a woman took to Instagram to raise an alarm over the content on this particular handle. NDTV will not name the handle lest we give it any more publicity than it is already getting. And remember, Instagram, in its own devious policies, has not cracked down on such content, saying it doesn't violate their community guidelines. Well, this woman has alleged that she had been recorded without her knowledge or permission while walking in the city. More action is likely in the Bengaluru voyeurism case. The Central Division of the Bengaluru Police also has taken cognizance of NDTV's report in the incident and sought further details.
Now, we've seen multiple instances. I'm sure your campus being so close to, popular places like Brigade Road, MG Road and Church Street, you all go there often. There are a lot of people who are content creators of sorts. Yes, there's a lot of good content that is coming through from, these people, but there is also some of them who are using it, for their own perversions. Voyeurism is a concern. We've seen in the Bengaluru metro an instance that came to the fore where videos of women were being taken. When you walk onto the streets of Brigade Road or MG Road, what do you think the curtail should really be of taking videos of seeking consent? Take us through, how do you feel when instances like this come to the fore?
So first thing is, when I see someone pointing out the phone at me, unknowingly, obviously from the peripheral view, you feel so uncomfortable. You feel like there's someone eyeing on you. There's some extra eyes that's there on you, irrespective of whether there's camera or no. It's like there's someone eyeing on you, and you just start to get conscious, because Church Street is a place where there's a lot of people who roam around, especially during the evenings, and that's when the people take advantage of that, and they just try to without actually taking our consent, just upload all sorts of videos without even understanding what's the, how it hurts women's sentiments.
Yeah. What do you feel?
I feel really uncomfortable. I'm already camera conscious, and a lot of people feel really uncomfortable even walking in the streets. And they use that content for more other misappropriate stuff. Yeah. So I don't support it. I don't like making public content in the first place. If you want to do content, you do it separately, but not making someone else feel uncomfortable.
Seek consent. You think that's very important?
Yes, that is very important. And I think if you're putting up content publicly, the gender should not matter. If you cannot shoot the same content with a man or a child, you should not be shooting it with a woman.
I think there should be more strict actions that are taken, and that should be done spontaneously. I think most of us weren't aware of this until and unless we saw these videos put up, and until it went viral, I don't think anyone even knew about this. So I think stricter action should be taken and it should be done as quick as possible.
Speaking to me are voices in Kolkata, women who are present on social media, who post on a daily, and we will get in their views on what they feel. Are you on social media? Do you feel unsafe at times because the kind of videos that are posted without consent? There are a lot of videos that are taken, say, in public spaces, in metro or in a railway or inside the bus, and then they're posted without consent. Do you feel unsafe, and how do you protect your social media profile?
Well, I would say that my account is on like Instagram, but it's public, and I have another account which is private. But I think it's not always possible to hide everything. But I feel like sometimes it's like a safety concern, and there should be consent, and people should just politely ask if it's okay. Yeah,
for taking the pictures, they should ask actually, because my faces will be visible in somewhere that is not correct actually.
Do you think there should be rules and regulations on photography in public spaces, say inside a metro or inside a public bus?
But that's not possible. No, many photographers are there, many bad people and good people are also there. So that's not possible to make any rules actually. But we don't know actually. We are finding solution for that.
There are so many people around, and it's not always possible to speak to every single one of them. Yeah. But I think it's okay if sometime we take it as a safety concern and just politely ask if it's okay. But it's not always possible.
And coming up after this very short break, the start of the Lord's Test in the Tendulkar-Anderson Trophy was marked by a moment for the fans. Sachin himself, attired in a traditional checked suit, rang the bell on day one of the third test. We'll get you those pictures and all the updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
Home Minister Amit Shah has tweeted, Modi government stands resolutely behind the states in all situations. Today, the central government has approved 1,066.8 crore rupees for flood and landslide affected states of Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Kerala and Uttarakhand as part of the central share under the SDRF. More than 8,000 crore from SDRF and NDRF funds have been provided to 19 states this year. Apart from financial aid, providing all logistic assistance, including deployment of requisite NDRF, Army and Air Force, has been our priority.
बदलाव की इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको ये तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
मैं चिराग पासवान पूरी तरीके से बिहार विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ और तत्पर।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है उनको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
ये लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि इनका जो बिहार में जो सरकार है, 50% जो नीतीश जी की मंत्रिमंडल में जो लोग बैठे हैं वो परिवारवादी लोग हैं। वो अपने आप को भी परिवारवादी बोले।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।
ना इस दीवार पे इतने इश्तहार चिपके हैं कि कोई दरार नजर नहीं आती। मैं उन लोगों में से जो कहता हूँ सारे इश्तहार फाड़ के फेंको, पहले दरार को एड्रेस करो।
ये दरार इसलिए क्योंकि कुछ लेफ्ट कुछ राइट, पर हम उन मुद्दों में आपके साथ जिनसे आपकी फाइट है। डिजिटल से देश समझा, अब टीवी पर समाधान लाना है। आइए मेरे साथ खबरों की कचहरी में सिर्फ NDTV पर। जनता के पास सवाल ही सवाल है, जवाब ढूंढने को वो देखती है न्यूज़ और देखती है यहाँ तो सवालों का मायाजाल है। ऊपर से ये अलग फाइट है, कोई पूरा लेफ्ट तो कोई पूरा राइट है। बीच में मुद्दे के साथ कौन है, जनता को जवाब चाहिए। इसीलिए सवालों की परेड नहीं, मैं लाऊंगा खबरों की कचहरी। मैं शुभांकर मिश्रा।
And the start of the Lord's Test in the Tendulkar-Anderson Trophy was marked by a moment for the fans. Sachin Tendulkar, attired in a traditional check suit, rang the bell on day one of the third Test match of the series between India and England. A portrait of the India great was Sachin unveiled as well.
Always good to see him on television. And he'll be standing up too. It's time here at Lord's for everyone.
Well, the series is tied at 1-1. England, having won the toss, are batting first at the home of cricket. Bumrah and Stokes are back in their respective sides. Okay, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Apologies for that. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just added 2 more feathers to his cap, bringing his total number of global honours to 27.
Named after a desert plant that symbolizes resilience. On Wednesday, Namibia awarded PM Modi its highest civilian honour, the Order of the Most Ancient Welwitschia Mirabilis. It's a rare tribute named after a desert plant that symbolizes resilience and long life. Just a day earlier, on Tuesday, Brazil conferred its Grand Collar of the National Order of the Southern Cross, their top honour for foreign nationals, recognising PM Modi's leadership and growing global influence. Over the past few years, countries across every continent have in fact honoured PM Modi. From the United States Legion of Merit to France's Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor, to Russia's Order of St. Andrew, and Saudi Arabia's King Abdulaziz Honor. African nations like Ghana, Nigeria, and Egypt have also followed suit, along with Caribbean countries like Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and Guyana. Plus island nations such as the Maldives, Fiji, and Palau. Each award celebrates diplomacy, PM Modi's leadership, and of course, deepening international ties with India, emerging as the voice of the global South, making PM Modi one of the most globally decorated Indian leaders in history. With honours spanning Asia to the Americas, the world seems to be taking note, and it's saying thank you in 27 different ways. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
But I'd like to start this off by asking you, Vishnu, what you think about the whole question of India not having stealth fighters right now.
It's a huge
Everyone's
problem.
trying to sell them to us as well.
It's a huge problem, Shiv. Let's face it, in as much as we love the Rafale aircraft and the Indian Air Force is completely vouching for it, Perhaps they'd like more than 100 more. The Indian Navy has just gotten into an order for 26 Rafale M aircraft. There is a generation gap between the Rafale and the stealth. There is a good reason why a stealth platform is called a 5th generation aircraft and a Rafale is a 4th or 4.5 generation aircraft, and that is low observability. So in as much as the Rafale has brilliant sensors, both in terms of its radar, its defensive suite, its electronic warfare suite, its towed array decoy system, it is not typically a low observability platform in quite the same manner in which a stealth aircraft is. Its design form is different. And therefore, if Pakistan does have low observable aircraft, which would be the J-35, in fact, the first ones might even start entering service or coming into the PAF ahead of entering service at some time this year, then India is in trouble.
So
why?
This year? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first could actually start coming in this year. They're really pushing for it. And they've gotten apparently into some agreement with the Chinese to ensure that the funding is done on very loose and terms favorable to Pakistan, as has been in the case in the past. If Pakistan starts acquiring low platforms which are low observable, in other words, stealth platforms, then that's an additional headache for the Indian Air Force, because tracking stealth aircraft requires a certain specialization. It's much more difficult. The time that you have to actually engage a potential stealth target is reduced greatly, and therefore, it's a problem.
बदलाव की इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको ये तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
मैं चिराग पासवान पूरी तरीके से बिहार विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ और तत्पर।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है उनको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
ये लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि इनका जो बिहार में जो सरकार है, 50% जो नीतीश जी की मंत्रिमंडल में जो लोग बैठे हैं वो परिवारवादी लोग हैं। वो अपने आप को भी परिवारवादी बोले।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।
The next chapter of the Karnataka Game of Thrones is unfolding in the national capital. Siddaramaiah, the Karnataka Chief Minister, he has dug in his heels. He says there was never any power-sharing formula. He goes on to say that DK Shivkumar, the Deputy Chief Minister himself, said there is no vacancy for the Chief Minister's post. Relief for Election Commission in Bihar voter list case. The Supreme Court has refused to stay the Election Commission of India's survey, but they have told the Election Commission to consider using Aadhaar as well as voter ID cards. The next hearing to take place on the 28th of July. Slapper Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad runs away from NDTV questions. NDTV confronts the Sena MLA, but the Sena MLA, he continues to give violent threats. The rift between Congress and Shashi Tharoor widens after he criticizes Congress over emergency Indian peace. Shashi Tharoor had written that emergency was a dark chapter in India's history. After a woman's viral Instagram post flagging women being without consent in Bengaluru, a 26-year-old has now been taken into custody. Hello and welcome. You're watching Prime 5. I'm Osama Shah. The political drama in Karnataka, it has taken a sharp turn with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy DK Shivkumar camping in Delhi amid the growing tensions within the ruling party. Dismissing any talks of a power-sharing deal or a cabinet reshuffle, Siddaramaiah has made it clear there will be no leadership change and he is here to stay for the full term. Meanwhile, even as power play continues in Delhi, a host of senior leaders and ministers, they met the AICC President Mallikarjun Kharge at his house just a short while ago. Officially, all of them maintained that it was a courtesy visit, but amidst the power play in Delhi, this meeting, it becomes more important. Listen in to what Siddaramaiah had to say.
No discussion taken place. That is my reply. Mr. D.K. Shivkumar himself said it, that there is no vacancy of the CM post. My answer is, whatever decision taken by the High Command, both of us will follow, will obey. No, there is no scheduled program. Neither Rahul Gandhi ji nor Kharge ji invited us, our party, to discuss the issues regarding the party.
Meanwhile, few of those leaders, they have also expressed some concerns over the current political scenario, the repeated statements and the constant chatter of change. In fact, my colleague Deepak Bopanna, Iqbal Hussain, a DK Shivkumar loyalist, he said that his demands remain the same, that DK Shivkumar should be made the chief minister. Take a look.
There is no question of leadership change. Would you want to say anything?
We are depending only on High Command, sir. Whatever they said, that we will follow it, sir. Please.
Because you had also mentioned that it is you will respond to, but your stand that you want a change remains the same.
Yeah. That is there, sir. That is there. Now, in the future, whatever the government, this High Command says, that we will follow it, sir.
Okay, but your demand remains the same?
Yeah. I stand with my word, sir.
Okay, because the Chief Minister is now saying that, for 5 years he'll continue.
Whatever it may be, sir, whatever it may be, I stand with my words.
Okay.
I demand, we must see that DK Shivkumar to be a Chief Minister, that's all.
All right, I'm currently joined by senior journalist Madhavan Narayanan, as well as Professor Sajjan Kumar, a political analyst, to shed some light on what is taking place in Karnataka. What is the future of both these leaders? Madhavan Narayanan, to you first. I mean, is this just a power tussle, or is there a deeper ideological and a leadership crisis within the Congress party in Karnataka? What do you make of it?
There is no leadership crisis as such. There is certainly a power struggle. And I think you mentioned ideological problems. It does exist in a way which, in fact, I'm glad you brought out that question, because there is no secret in the fact that DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah are in Silicon Valley called co-opetition. They are cooperating as well as competing within the Congress. So there is a certain amount of jostling for power, shadow boxing, you want to call it. Yeah. But the significant part is that both of them are swearing by the High Command. But unlike Shivakumar, Siddaramaiah is assertive that there is no change and there was no power sharing program which was thought to exist earlier but never confirmed. He says there was never no formula. But in the context of your question on ideological differences, it's important and significant that Siddaramaiah represents the so-called Ahinda, the backward class minority alliance, which has become now this centerpiece or the key aspect of the Congress's national level political strategy, especially with its demand for caste census. Now, what that means for Karnataka is the Vokaliga community represented by Shivakumar and the dominant Lingayat community may be comparatively less important for Congress. And that image also has to go out for Bihar elections, where a lot of other backward castes other than the dominant Yadavs and Kurmis are there. So therefore, Siddaramaiah is speaking with a measure of confidence that this is no occasion for the Congress to, the High Command to remove him. And but it's also a very subtle signal that, look, karke dekh lo. As they say, look, you dare not touch me. Yeah. But everybody swears by the High Command in Congress, but you have to read the body language. That's how politics works in the Congress. The body language is heavily tilted in favor of a non-loyalist. Everybody is officially a loyalist to the Gandhi family and the High Command in Congress. But you have to see the other signals. the supporters of Shiv Kumar are more keen to swing Kharge or so-called high commanders, who essentially it's three people. It's Rahul Gandhi, maybe Sonia Gandhi, plus Kharge, plus the General Secretary, who in this case happens to be Randeep Surjewala.
Yeah.
If they were sure, they would have given out a signal. Now, they were not sure, and what we are witnessing is a muscle flexing by both camps, the Siddaramaiah camp as well as the Shivakumar camp. But what we need to read between the lines again is that even if Siddaramaiah doesn't make way, it is a subtle signal that the loyalists of Shivakumar have to be increasingly accommodated in the power equations through appointments, cabinet or otherwise. I think that's where things stand now. A lot will happen probably after the Bihar election. A lot will depend on that. There could be national responsibilities of either of these leaders. We'll have to watch out for that. But at the moment, Congress is in a bit of a drift. Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up the Bihar elections, the upcoming Bihar elections. And I want to understand from Professor Sajjan Kumar, how significant then it becomes the role of the Congress High Command in resolving or escalating the situation at this moment?
This is a very pertinent question because one finds a striking parallel to understand the issue between the episode in Rajasthan when Gehlot was the chief minister and Sachin Pilot was the contender, as you see now when Siddaramaiah is the incumbent and DK Shivkumar is the contender. And herein, remember, in the case of Rajasthan, Gehlot was given the option of becoming the national president of the party, which he rejected and defied the high command. Now, take the case of Siddaramaiah. He is 76 years old. If he relinquishes the post of chief minister, then certainly he cannot be part of the government in Karnataka. Congress High Command doesn't have the alternative mechanism to accommodate a leader like Siddaramaiah because the party doesn't have the incentive in popular perception to make a comeback to the center in recent years. So therefore, High Command doesn't have the sort of leverage which is needed to force a mass leader, a heavyweight regional satraps, to fall in line. And that is why the crucial leverage that the High Command needed, which was still a bit enforceable in the case of Rajasthan when Gehlot was there, that still is missing in the case of Karnataka. And that is why 76-year-old Siddaramaiah, if you think from his political calculation, he doesn't have any option right now but to defy the High Command. Because A, as has been said, he represents Ahinda coalition, that is the backwards, Dalits, tribals. 2, he is the only credible mass leader. And C, DK Shivkumar, despite all the clamoring, cannot have his managerial skill, still cannot be a match. This is one. 2, we also have to see when we talk about this code of high command in Congress, now you have two doors. One is Rahul Gandhi, other is Priyanka Gandhi, and we do not know reportedly which one favors whom, because we have seen in Himachal, etc., lots many the choices for CM phase has been oscillating between the two camps. Not these two are in rivalry, but
not to forget that there is also Mallikarjun Kharge, who comes from the same state as well. Gentlemen, stay with us. Let me go across to my colleague Deepak Bopanna. Deepak, just for our viewers, was there any, any sort of internal agreement for a rotating chief minister? Because the chief minister, he himself has denied any such agreement. Was there any talks as such earlier?
Well, for me to either confirm or deny that will set the cats among the pigeons, won't it? Because, there have been these talks that this conversation has happened. There has been an agreement from day one since when the government has spoken about it. But actually, none of the leaders have maintained this. Unofficially, many of them have said, well, there has been this conversation in the past. But who is actually going to right now pay heed to that conversation that happened 2.5 years ago, whether they're going to bank on that promise, whether they'll keep up that promise. These are the bigger questions today, because on one hand you have DK Shivkumar, who feels that he's done a lot for the party and they should give his share of credit, and when I say his share of credit, the top post in the state. On the other hand, Mr. Siddaramaiah of course feels that he's still a mass leader, enjoys the support of most of the MLAs and doesn't see a situation where he has to relinquish his seat. So for the High Command, the dilemma here continues. We've seen this sort of a dilemma in the past in Madhya Pradesh, we've seen in Rajasthan, and at the end of it, how the High Command has dealt with that situation, has decided whether they come out of it intact or broken. And in most of the instances, they've come out broken. They don't want a situation like this in Karnataka. So it's going to be important how they handle it. On one hand, you have hectic parleys in Delhi. On the other, you have Mallikarjun Kharge here in Bengaluru meeting ministers. Some of the ministers here are aspirants themselves to the top post, be it the Chief Minister's post or even the KPCC President's post. So a lot right now riding on how the High Command deals with this situation.
All right, Deepak Bopanna, thank you very much for breaking it down for us. Let me go back to Madhavan Narayanan and Professor Sajjan Kumar. Very quickly, Madhavan Narayanan, what impact could this have on the Congress party's upcoming elections? There is Bihar, that is a very, very important state for them.
I think two things you have to remember, Osama. Let's get some context here. Congress is not the only party facing such a situation. Even BJP faces it in every state. To some extent, in BJP, they played much more subtly. Having said that, Congress is in a much more precarious situation because its grassroots leaders, Professor Sajjan Kumar mentioned Ashok Gehlot. He's in that category. He belongs to the Mali caste, which is a bit of an OBC, backward caste in its own right. And then you have Siddaramaiah. So there is a certain amount of simmering discontent or ambition that has to be managed more carefully. Now, at the national level, it's equally true that dominant castes within the non-upper caste, so to speak, like the Vokkaligas or the Jats in Haryana, also have to be managed. So the art of management is critical. But right now, I think the Congress will be completely focusing on Bihar, where it has a point to prove, and a lot will depend on what happens in Bihar. I think at the moment, from a voter point of view, from a vote-catching point of view, Congress is definitely bet its farm, so to speak, on the lower OBCs, the OBC plus minority plus, Dalits. And to that extent, it will give higher weightage to these leaders. And it has everything to gain and nothing to lose from that. So that is why you can see Siddaramaiah is acting so confident. Because the High Command, there is a certain finessing, right from Mahatma Gandhi's time, it has been true. There have been some grassroots leaders and there is a High Command. So there's a balancing act. But right now, the die is cast in favor of the OBCs.
That's a great point that you have made, Madhavan Narayan. Professor Sajjan Kumar, very quickly, where does this leave Siddaramaiah? Does it, strengthen his position within the party or isolate him further within the party itself?
We have to differentiate the MLAs and the support base. Now, within MLAs, certainly Siddaramaiah seems to be slightly isolated because around 100 MLAs are swearing by DK Shivkumar. But still, if you go by the caste arithmetic, Siddaramaiah outweighs Vokkaliga, despite the fact that DK Shivkumar was crucial in garnering the crucial difference from the Vokka community away from the JDS, from the HD Devegowda's the Patriarch's party, which was crucial because in terms of vote percentages, BJP and Congress were almost retaining their vote, but it was JDS vote transferred to Congress. Now, DK Shivkumar not getting that post may alienate the Vokkaliga, the second most populous caste in Karnataka. So certainly Siddaramaiah, I do not see is going to be weakened in his own core support base, but certainly if you see MLA's support and from their vantage point, Siddaramaiah seems to be losing the kind of cohesive grip he used to have in the past.
All right. Professor Sajjan Kumar and Madhavan Narayanan, thank you very much for making those very crucial and important points. In fact, although there is a growing, voice within the party that everything is all right, everything is fine, but there is also the other side to it. Many are predicting that DK Shivkumar is going to be elevated, and one of those is a seer who has predicted DK Shivkumar's elevation from the Deputy Chief Minister's post to the Chief Minister. This seer says that DKS will become the Chief Minister very soon. Listen in.
ಅವರ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪದ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ಭಕ್ತರ ಆಶೋತ್ತರದ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ರೈತ ಬಾಂಧವ